Welcome to the CE series, where I sit down with the experts who walk me through some of their areas of responsibility. Today, I'm having a discussion with none other than Francois Stols, who has been with the company for such a long time. He's a legend.
Thank you.
You are a legend, right?
Thank you, Mteto.
If you can say so yourself. Francois, how long have you been with us?
Sure. Most of my working career was probably about 40 years with a couple of sabbaticals in between.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. And your last, before this one, your last role, what was your last role?
It was to head up the multimedia division within Altron. I think I've always been involved in the technology side of business, and I think the multimedia technology went through its growth curve and eventually into its sunset.
Yeah, you managed that sunset very, very well. It was at a difficult time for that business, but you provided a great leadership. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
You then decided to become a CTO of one of our key areas of focus, which is Netstar.
Correct.
And what attracted you to that role?
Mteto, I think, as I said, I've always been passionate about technology, and I think the sort of new wave, the sort of fourth industrial revolution, is all about AI and data and technology. And I think Netstar is a company that has been walking the talk for the last 25 years. I think everybody's been talking about IoT, but Netstar has been doing IoT for 25 years. So.
I mean, we've got tracker, we've got mixed telematics, we've got car track. Why should we be excited about Netstar? I mean, what are you guys offering different?
Yeah, so I think it's not only about the past, Mteto. I think the past of Netstar, like most vehicle tracking companies in South Africa, started with stolen vehicle recovery, and it was a very simple business case. Find stolen vehicles, track stolen vehicles, find stolen vehicles. But I think the technology has moved on. I think we're now providing fleet solutions for large mega fleets. We are moving from historical data to predictive data. People don't want to know if their truck has been stolen. They want to know if their truck is going to be stolen. We need to be able to predict that the truck is driving into a dangerous situation. So it's very exciting for me.
Talking about fleet, I understand Patco is one of our customers.
Correct.
Correct.
And I think,
what is it that we do for them?
So again, Patco is one of those customers where we're bringing all these different technologies that you hear about together.
What are some of those technologies?
So I think you've been hearing a lot about artificial intelligence, so for example.
Yes.
So we have various cameras on each bus. So each Patco bus has got a camera that looks forward, one that looks at the driver, one that looks at the passengers. But to analyze that amount of data for human beings would be impossible. So these things we put through our AI or artificial intelligence engine, and then we can see whether the driver's got both his hands on the steering wheel, whether he's talking on his cell phone, whether he's cheating when he sells tickets. We can count the people that gets on the bus. So that's just one example of what we're doing there.
That's great. I also understand that somehow the diesel gets used quicker.
Correct.
And we're finding a way of making sure that it does not get shrinkage.
Yeah, no, correct. And I think, Mteto, one of the things that's also exciting, we're becoming an expert in the sort of bus segment. We just recently got a big contract with Durban Ethekwini municipality, and we're managing their bus fleet as well, and we've developed a truly South African sort of bus routing management system for them that optimize the bus routes and so on. And we have rolled out the same at Patco.
So what can I expect now? I'm your customer.
Yes.
I mean, so as many of us as Altron employees, we are customers of Netstar. What can we expect in the next 2-3 years from Netstar? Thing that's going to be making us to be, different, unique in this space.
Yeah, I think, Mteto, if you look at the sort of consumer side of our business, that's where we now starting to say we need to add value to the consumer as well. I think worldwide, the concept, for example's sake, of usage-based insurance is taking off, where you're now starting to measure how the person is driving his vehicle, where he's driving his vehicle, and depending on his drive style, you can now tailor his insurance premium based on the way that he drives, and that provides real value to the customer. That is just one small example of how we.
And what are some of the other value-added services you guys are thinking of at this time?
Yeah, I think we're also moving into the sort of space of making drivers more productive, especially this morning with all the rain. Everybody's sitting in the traffic for so long. How can you make the drivers and the occupants of the vehicles more productive? And we are starting to engage with vehicle manufacturers to start putting technology in the vehicle that provide broadband connectivity into the vehicle. This means you can now stream data to occupants of the vehicle. They can become more productive in the vehicle, or if the kids on the back seat can
Is that what you guys announced with Toyota?
Correct. I think that is one of the first big examples of collaboration with the
Why did Toyota come to us? I mean, they are this global player, Japanese, one of the leading companies globally, coming to us, a relatively small company in South Africa.
Yeah, I think, Mteto, first of all, I think within the South African context, we are definitely leaders in that space. We have done significant projects with other OEMs. Jaguar Land Rover has been fitting our units in their vehicles for quite some time, but not with the broadband connectivity. But I think South Africans generally is known worldwide as people that can drive technology forward, that's innovators, and I think we're very excited about the Toyota project in that it is a project that was actually approved by Japan. I think it's not just a South African project. We have to submit our samples to Japan for approval, so we're very excited about the project. Yeah.
So there are within Netstar some plans to expand geographically beyond South Africa.
100%, Mteto. I think that's happening already. I think, first of all, again, I'm just going to use the Toyota example once more, but I think wherever Toyota is, we can go. So we've already recently signed up Toyota in Malaysia. We're starting to fit in Malaysia now. We're fitting about 1,500 vehicles a month in Malaysia.
Wow.
And we are starting to talk to the Toyota plants in Thailand, and we're also in discussion with the Toyota franchises in Australia. So, but I think that's just an example. But as a company, we've established ourselves quite firmly in Australia already. We operate offices all over Australia, our main office being in Sydney. And, again, you have to choose your niches where you want to be strong.
Yes.
I think in Australia, one of the niches where we really dominate is in the municipal space. And I think we can bring that knowledge back into South Africa and the technology back into South Africa and apply it here locally
the UK as well.
And the UK as well. I think that is definitely a target market for us. I think watch your space.
Okay. And looking now at let's just shift gears into the Internet of Things, because your platform is actually an IoT platform, is that correct?
Correct. And as I said at the beginning of the discussion, we've been doing IoT while everybody was talking about it. So I think the definition of IoT is machines talking to machines. We've had cars talking to us all the time. I think what is different is that technology has now reached a point where computing power and storage, the economy of scale of storage or so on is of such a nature that we can store and process a lot more data. And which means that we can put more sensors in the vehicle. In the past it was a simple dot on a map, maybe from a GPS sensor. Now we can sense a whole bunch of things in the vehicle. Our unit in the vehicle, both commercial and consumer vehicles, can talk to IoT sensors elsewhere in the vehicle. We can measure temperatures, of the cargo. We can measure doors opening and so on. And all of this data we can aggregate into a data platform on the back end.
Okay, so the fact that you've got companies like Microsoft who decided to have a data center, local data center here, and Amazon, does it help with our value proposition or not? Does it help with the computing? Does it also help with reducing the cost of that computing?
100%, Mteto. I think first of all, we were faced with a decision some time ago whether we will just get onto a third-party big data platform like an Amazon or Azure big data, Microsoft big data platform. And we decided to build our own big data platform, but using the same technologies and techniques that these big players are using. And the big data platform is now running extremely well, but you still need to run it on an environment where it's infinitely scalable.
Yes,
and that's where Microsoft is helping us tremendously. We've just recently moved onto the Azure South African platform. We were one of the first big anchor customers on the Azure South African platform. And it is elastically scalable, so as our customer needs grow, we can grow within that environment cost effectively as well. And as the requirements may shrink in the middle of the month, we can shrink the amount of resources that we deploy as well.
I understand that there are discussions right now with the Department of Health in KZN in KwaZulu-Natal, where they're looking at expanding our relationship to managing the ambulances and things like that.
Correct.
And can you share any of that?
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I think, as I also mentioned earlier on, we already have eThekwini Municipality as one of our customers. All of their vehicles, very close to 7,000 vehicles, and these include street sweepers, it includes the Metro Police, it includes graders, wow. all of their vehicles. But the one platform that we didn't have yet was the sort of medical side of it, and KZN Health manages that fleet. That's a fleet of about 4,500 vehicles, all the ambulances and all the emergency response vehicles, and we're hoping to bring that vehicles on before the end of this financial year as well.
As a citizen of this country, the thing that continues to concern me is the quality of service that we get from organizations like the cities, the various metros. Do you think with this data that now we have about, for example, the city of eThekwini, we'll be able to help improve the service to us as citizens?
Correct, Mteto. I think it is very enlightening to see that these people are not deploying this. This is very expensive technology.
Yeah.
It costs the city maybe tens of millions of rands to deploy the technology, and they're not doing that just for the sake of tracking vehicles. They're doing it for the sake of being able to offer a more effective service to customers, and that puts a lot of pressure on us to, with our sister companies, start doing data analytics or whatever that will provide technology that really matters to them.
So you can pick up when the metropolis are maybe sitting somewhere under something for not just for 30 minutes, maybe for 4 hours.
No, correct.
You can pick that up.
No, 100%. Okay. But also on the other, so I think that is. I know it. You mentioned that jokingly, but we just recently ran their data through data analytics, and it is quite amazing the amount of money that gets spent. For example, like vehicles just standing idling, and while a vehicle is idling, it runs into millions of rands. So if you can just educate drivers to switch off the vehicle when they're stationary, that can save millions of rands.
Okay. So, any final message to our employees about IoT, about Netstar, about our company? You would like to say a few words?
Yeah, Mteto, I think the only thing is, I think Netstar sort of practically brings all of these technologies together. I think if you look at the verticals that Altron wants to play in data analytics, sort of security, big data, and AI, it brings it all together in a practical application. And so I think for me, the key message going forward is collaboration, not only at the customer level, but also at technology level.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We really appreciate your technology leadership and how you continue to guide us as we try to reposition our company within this very important space. So we
Thank you,
appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mteto.
Yeah. Thank you.